Ladies and gentlemen, it is an absolutely massive day for the unemployed. That's right, we've got PlayStation fanboys gooning themselves to oblivion over Ghost of Yote, where they finally have a video game to play in 2025. Who could believe it? We also have Nintendo fanboys trying to go ahead and finally put the nail in the coffin of the Steam Deck, even though all they talk about is everybody else's hardware, not even their own. And on top of that, the good old FBI has put down the hammer on those horrible Steam punks pirating all of Nintendo's video games. Oh, God. Oh, it has been an absolutely absurd day, but you know what? It gets even better because fanboys are gonna fanboy as they always tend to do. And the better part about all of that is the fanboying happens to be on the Nintendo side, of course. So, ladies and gentlemen, what happened? Well, apparently Digital Foundry did a full-on analysis comparing the Nintendo Switch 2 and the Steam Deck to Cyberpunk 2077. And what happened? Were the steampunks blown out? Huh? Is Valve finally finished and kaput? Is it over? Complete? Nintendo domination is taking over the airways? And no, not really. Apparently, if you just play the Steam Deck version in direct handheld mode at the resolution of the screen, you get a better overall frame rate and a better overall experience over the Switch 2. However, though, if you play the Switch 2 version docked, you get a better experience there. So pretty much, I would say they're about even, because the frame rate difference you're getting is anywhere between like 4 or 5 FPS depending on the area. So I guess, maybe? No, not really. But you know what? This didn't stop Nintendo fanboys from not only using Digital Foundry in the most cherry-picked fashion, it also opened them up to the pure hypocrisy. I know you want it. I know you need it. You're here for it. Let's get it on. Crocolock on Twitter said this: Cyberpunk 2077 is better on the Nintendo Switch 2 than Steam Deck. Switch 2 is leagues ahead of the Steam Deck when docked. In quality mode, in performance mode, Switch 2 still manages to outclass the Steam Deck for the most part. Switch 2 version is the most efficient. This I absolutely love. You boys are in a whole new town of hurt, because exactly what you're doing is what we've been calling out for PlayStation fanboys doing for the last 5 years of their actual consoles. From the PS4 Pro all the way now to the PS5 Pro. The fact that you guys have to sit there and turn around and say things like, oh, the Switch 2 outclasses the Steam Deck, but only when it's docked and not in handheld mode. And then, of course, it's way more efficient because the battery is half the size, and because it's more efficient, even in handheld mode, it's outclassed. Even though in handheld mode, when it's being played at native resolution on the Steam Deck, it not only looks better, but also performs better. And when they try to upscale it to 1080p on top of that, that's when it broke apart. And you can clearly see the lines being drawn, the cherry picking, the pointing out and saying, oh, Digital Foundry proved us right again. Nintendo be the best, baby. When in reality, you guys have to go through and place so many barriers around what your device actually does to try and prove to yourselves that it was actually worth the money. Is it impressive that the Switch 2 can play Cyberpunk 2077? Yes, it's impressive. Just leave it at that. But what's wild to me is the insane hate boner that Nintendo fanboys have over the Steam Deck. I really don't understand it. Actually, you know what? I kind of do understand it. You guys have the hate boner for the Steam Deck because we've been emulating Nintendo Switch games on that thing for the better part of the last 7 years, not having to pay money to Nintendo. As you guys go through having to cash your disability checks to go ahead and put them over and give them to Miyamoto every single week for a brand new game, even though you know you're not getting a better experience overall and you're having to fork over that money instead of giving it to DSP instead. Oof. Oof. And if you don't believe me about what I just said concerning the Switch 2 and the Steam Deck playing Cyberpunk, here is in fact the conclusional part of that video from Digital Foundry.
So what have we learned from this experience? Empirically, not a great deal. A PC game running on a Linux handheld through the Proton translation layer without custom retooling for mobile gaming and without an iteration of the best upscaler on the market means that Switch 2 goes into this one with a range of unassailable advantages. In docked mode, though, the gulf in performance and rendering resolutions is such that it's difficult to come to any conclusion other than that Switch 2's GPU is far more performant, even though the processor is on a supposedly suboptimal fabrication technology. In theory, Steam Deck should have a CPU advantage, but it's hard to tell that this is the case when you're so heavily GPU limited. In handheld play, though, there's a strong case that in real-world head-to-head comparisons based on actual use cases, Steam Deck holds its own. Native 720p is a better fit for the panel. There's no need to use DRS or upscaling to achieve similar performance to the Switch 2 operating in a 450p to 810p dynamic resolution window. In areas where we kind of think we may be CPU limited, the Steam Deck also performs more smoothly in adhering to the 30 FPS target we opted for. And yes, of course, Steam Deck OLED's HDR is actual HDR, not something we can say about the Switch 2's effort.
Nintendo God on Twitter said this, me, #Nintendo Switch 2 is vastly superior to the Steam Deck, comparing a handheld to an actual hybrid gaming console that is on par with Xbox, Series, and PS5 is asinine. Dense PC fanboys, you're delusional. Steam Deck outperforms the Switch 2 dated tech. It can do TV gaming too. Reality, and then he posts a video from Digital Foundry that has been heavily edited, by the way. It's kind of funny how he edits out all the parts where they criticize the Switch 2 over the video instead of just actually providing the full context of the video. Isn't that weird? You know what else I think is weird? Nintendo God. Maybe the fact that all of a sudden now you use Digital Foundry as a pure source of what's going on with your console when I can just simply use Twitter's advanced search and find this. The frauds at Digital Foundry are really trying to call the Nintendo Switch 2 launch games impossible ports, skull emoji. Admit y'all was wrong again and stop this anti-Nintendo/Nvidia bias. It's not surprising a console with more modern hardware, native 4K 60, 120 FPS, and DLSS to match the PlayStation 5. You know what's great? That's not the only receipt I was able to pull on you, my guy. You have had multiple infractions this year talking bad about Digital Foundry. I mean, the fact that you're trying to compare the Switch 2 to a PS5 is honestly insane already on its own, but it gets even better. Check this out. This is you back in April 9th of 2025 saying this. Digital Foundry is once again completely off. We already have confirmation from third-party devs that it's greater than Series S/mid-tier PC. Not the mention, the damn games shown and demoed are PS5 games. Digital Foundry is just damn worthless when it comes to hardware predictions. Hey yo, nobody tell this clown what a mid-range PC in today's modern hardware can actually do. He'll lose his mind. He'll see he's never seen before. It'll be like 2001: A Space Odyssey. He's being reborn again. And I love it. I love it how all of a sudden Digital Foundry is completely off and worthless. But randomly now, when it goes with your narrative of what you want to prove for your specific console device, they're the best. But again, we got more receipts on you, my boy. Here is you on April 20th, 2025 saying this. This is why people need to stay away and ignore Digital Foundry. Once again, someone had to come in and correct them on the misinformation they spread. It truly pathetic. I don't even have to say anything on this line whatsoever. Again, from your own tweet back in April, you said to stay away and ignore DF. Yet the very moment, the very nanosecond, you can use Digital Foundry to prove your own point, even though you clipped everything directly and cut out all the parts that were negative about the Switch 2 in that video that you put on Twitter, you parade them around as if they are the greatest thing in the gaming landscape. The hypocrisy, the idiocy, the stupidity cannot be overstated in this direct quote. And the fact that you are doing this and getting caught and called out and being exposed for the clown that you are tells me one thing and one thing only, my boy. You fanboys are the idiots that keep on giving. Ladies and gentlemen, cue the music.
Expose, 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 expose.
Here is Obi-Wan Plays on Twitter saying this. Digital Foundry just compared the Switch 2 versus the Steam Deck versions of Cyberpunk, and I didn't realize how much more powerful the Switch 2 is than the Steam Deck. The gap is huge. Obi-Wan, yeah, the gap is just gigantic. The massive power that the Switch 2 has over the Steam Deck is absurd. I mean, there isn't going to be any way that I can just simply take a screenshot from Digital Foundry's video and show the Steam Deck running at a higher frame rate than the Switch. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Wait, you mean to tell me that when you're not trying to upscale the actual game to 1080p on the Steam Deck, that it actually outperforms the Switch 2 and looks better and plays better and has better screen space reflections? Wow. Oh boy, that is what a massive gap. What a massive gap in power. It's huge. Bro, the fact that you guys are sitting here talking about this and doing this consistently is the most wild thing of all. The behavior, the insanity, the stupidity knows no bounds. But it gets better because I also use Twitter Advanced Search on you, Obi-Wan Plays. What do you really think about Digital Foundry? Let's find out. Here's Obi-Wan Plays back in May 16th of 2020 with a picture of Cyberpunk running on the Switch 2 saying this. Digital Foundry is punching the air right now. Wait, hold on. Wait a second. If you're using DF to prove how much more powerful the Switch 2 is than the Steam Deck, why did you tweet back in May that DF would be punching the air? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, why would someone who uses Digital Foundry say that Digital Foundry is angry about the Switch 2 even existing in the first place? I mean, there can't be any way that there'd be another tweet like this now, would there? Here is Obi-Wan Plays again back in June of the 22nd in 2025 saying this. Switch 2 owners, we can see the screen for ourselves. The games look great running on the 7.9-inch HDR screen. A few weeks ago, Digital Foundry said the games on the screen look, quote, fantastic. Now they telling y'all if you slow down the video to an exorbitant number, nanoseconds, you will see ghost emoji times 3, laughing crying emoji times 5. So who recording their Switch 2 gameplay then playing it back to analyze nanoseconds? Ain't nobody got time for that, crying emoji times 1. I own both Fast Fusion and Sonic X Shadow on Switch 2. Both games move at lightning speed on the screen, and both run and look fantastic. That RDC video today is real. Who is paying these guys to hate on Nintendo? Laughing, crying emoji times 3. Obi-Wan, do you want to know what's really, really funny about this? Do you know who's actually paying Digital Foundry? It's going to shock you when you hear about this. It's actually Nintendo. You see, Nintendo paid Digital Foundry to do an entire video talking about the Switch 2 and the new capabilities for it for the Zelda games that are Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. No, I'm not kidding. They got a full-on paid sponsorship directly from Nintendo to do that video directly. And here you are asking who's paying DF to hate on Nintendo. It literally writes itself, brother. It writes itself. How you clowns can't sit here and do this to yourselves is honestly wild to me. The fact that you guys are constantly talking about how DF bashes everything Nintendo, how DF is punching the air because they're so mad about the Switch 2. And the moment you guys can cherry pick any piece of information, you turn around and just praise Digital Foundry as if they're the greatest thing of all time, and they prove to everybody that you're right, even though they didn't. And you're just gonna, oh God, it's so good. It's so good. It is literally the exact same thing PlayStation fanboys do all the time with DF as well. This game runs better on Xbox. Xbox paid DF. We see this shit on a consistent basis, and you guys are just following the same exact playbook. Except the difference here is that unlike the consoles, you guys have a battery-powered handheld device trying to compete with those consoles. And you guys aren't even in the same ballpark and stratosphere. You're literally upscaling to 1080p from like a 540p image. Don't act like you guys are doing anything fantastic over there. You're using the same old tech that we've had for the last 6 years already. Just be happy that you got a Switch 2 and you're playing video games on it that are somewhat finally modern that you missed out on for the last 8 years because of the Switch 1 being so low powered. It boggles my mind. But you know what gets even better? Is when people go after direct YouTubers who have done the research, done the information, provided the process, and even showed pure evidence, and they still attack them. Here's Carrie Galam from The Fox on YouTube saying this: "Today I learned there are people who genuinely believe the Switch 2 handheld looks better than what the Steam Deck produces, or this is, quote, cherry picking. Worse reflections? Awesome. Shadow quality? Who needs it? Lower than low LOD? I can't see far anyways. DLSS shimmer stability? Exquisite. The best part about it is Carrie even puts in a direct video capture feed, both from the Steam Deck and the Switch 2, showing those exact same problems with the Switch 2 version of Cyberpunk 2077. Again, just because the Switch 2 plays it at a higher resolution, quote unquote, that is upscaled, it doesn't mean the game in fact looks better or runs better, as you can see directly from the footage here. It's wild how these clowns will go around and have a worse experience overall, then claim it's better than the Steam Deck, the device that they apparently don't like and don't care about but can't stop talking about, and use this as a gotcha and a W for them. I just can't, bro. I just can't. It's wild to me how this is happening. You know, there's going to be a video from Harmon Smith talking about this, and I cannot wait to see what that dude does when he has to put his fingers inside of his glass and chew his water to get it down like an actual lizard person to finally have a take that is going to be so astronomically bad. It is going to make you lose your mind. Oh, it's going to be so good. So good. But you see, things aren't all great in the world of PC gaming, because apparently it turns out the FBI is taking down a big Nintendo Switch piracy site. According to Nintendo Everything, it turns out that NSW2U housed plenty of ROMs for games on the console. If you had a hacked Nintendo Switch or a working PC emulator, some could download content from the site and play those titles without legally purchasing them. The FBI went after the website in accordance with a seizure warrant issued pursuant to 18.USC.2323, issued by the U.S. States District Court of the Northern District of Georgia as part of a law enforcement operation in action by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. This notice is provided when attempting to access NSW.2U. The Dutch agency FIOD was also involved in the takedown. In fact, when I went to the NSW2U website, this is what was shown to me on screen. That's right, this website has been seized. The domain has been seized by the FBI. This is some real serious shit happening right now in the world of video games, honestly. But you see, the thing is, this is not just an issue in terms of what's going on in the world. This is the fact that Nintendo, again, is not realizing exactly the kind of market they're dealing with. Because a lot of people who go on the internet and put ROMs on there and provide piracy and pirated copies of information and content basically are just Hydra from Marvel. You cut off one head, 3 go in its place. Nintendo can try to do whatever they can to curb piracy until they realize that piracy is not a price concern, but a service problem. And until they provide proper service to PC gamers or people that can't afford to go through and spend $80 on a video game or $500 on a console, they're going to have to keep dealing with this over and over again. The thing is, though, Nintendo fanboys, of course, don't understand anything of what's actually happening because wait till you see this. Here, in fact, is Juice Man Vaughn saying, the broke bum section of the Steam Deck community is scattering like roaches. Crying emoji. You know what's crazy? I don't know how Juice Man Vaughn continually makes these kinds of tweets over and over again, yet gets hundreds of likes on each and every single one. In fact, it's kind of wild. The only thing he does more than Twitter is probably smack one out to Nintendo and his Switch 2 all the time. I bet he's got a cover for that screen too, don't you know? But the thing is this, it's kind of crazy how all of a sudden PC gamers are the broke bum section of the Steam Deck community. What even the fuck is that? Like, do you guys even understand what the Steam Deck in fact is? It's a PC. You guys have to realize that it's simply an accessory for PC gamers. Like you don't have to have a Steam Deck to play games from Steam or that are on the Steam store page. You can just have a PC and have a Steam Deck and do whatever else. And there's other variances of handhelds that also do the exact same thing. This really wild take that you guys have, that you're so obsessed with a different handheld existing in the marketplace, truly is astonishing to me. It's almost like you guys have the same derangement syndrome that PlayStation fanboys have of the existence of Xbox or PC gaming in the first place. How you guys consistently talk about like they're scattering like roaches, these broke Steam Deck bums, when the Steam Deck costs more than the Switch 2. There's more games on the Steam Deck. We can emulate your Switch 1 games on the Steam Deck. There are more websites than just NSW2U than what was taken down for PC gamers for finding ROMs. This obsession you guys have with giving this company money like Nintendo is really the more scary part about all of this, and the fact that people just support you and like your tweets is even worse. You know what? We need to reopen mental asylums. We really do. No, we really do. I think we really, really do. We are doing a massive disservice to our communities. 100%. Here is Artemis Team Fossils saying this. Steam Deck users seeing this. They're forced to play Steam games on it now. Do you guys have any understanding or concept of what PC gaming in fact actually is? A Steam game. Forced to play Steam games. You mean play every other game in existence on the platform ever made, regardless of time, date, or platform in one spot? We're forced to play that? Oh, the horror. Oh, the humanity of it all. I can't believe it. I had to go to a different website to get my Nintendo ROMs than the one I used to go to before. Shakuse. What a horrendous life I have to live. Again, the bootlicking for these people is astronomical. You guys would give Nicola a run for his money. I'm waiting for the day that one of you kisses your Nintendo Switch 2. But it really goes to show you guys have no idea whatever the you're talking about, whether it's terms of technology, performance, hardware, video games, platforms, storefronts, everything you guys touch, you literally turn. So literally, stop talking about the Steam Deck when you don't know what the Steam Deck in fact actually is or does. Play a Steam game. What the is a Steam game? You gotta play a Steam game now. You mean every game? We get to play everything? We get to play all the games? Oh, a Steam game? It's so moronic and stupid. I gotta go take a shower at how dumb that was. Holy shit! And you know what the crazier part about all of this is? Nintendo is doing more and more things to take access away from you, the consumer and customer. It turns out that there's some reports happening that if you buy a pre-owned Switch 1 game and put into your Switch 2, there could be a possibility that that will in fact brick your system, even though you purchased it legally from a used game sale like GameStop or etc. What Nintendo is doing is, if they find out that that game has a specific key that has been used on a MiG Switch that is also banned, they will in fact ban your Switch too as well. So even though you bought that game properly used and you owned that game and it was a legal purchase, just because you wanted to save a couple of bucks, it could brick your entire Switch console simply because Nintendo wanted to go ahead and control far more than it could. And to make matters even worse, Nintendo is in fact ending the Switch Online voucher program for Nintendo Switch software. You know, that thing where you would spend $100 on the voucher, then be able to buy two $60 games for $100, saving you $20? Yeah, that's out the window as well. So not only are they raising the price on you, not only are they stopping you from getting used games because now you have a higher risk of having your Switch 2 console brick, now they're removing the Switch voucher program as well, and raising the price of the console, raising the price of the games, and raising the price of everything else. So yeah, if you want to talk about how great you are at spending your disability check entirely on Nintendo every single month, then I guess you got one on everybody else? Surprise, I guess. In my opinion, Nintendo is absolutely falling off the deep end. They could have easily solved all these issues about piracy and everything else if they simply just put their games onto the PC platform for sale. Hell, I guarantee you there would be tons of people willing to spend $60, $70, or even $80 on a PC port of many of those games just to play that on their Steam Deck hardware or even on their PC directly. Instead, they're doing everything they can by having legal ramifications, suing everybody, bricking switches, causing massive strife among actual paying customers, and in reality, the process is the pirates keep getting away with it, and they always will get away with it because they're not tied to Nintendo. The only people this is impacting negatively are in fact proper consumers of their product, which is why DRM and anti-piracy measures never actually work. The only people harmed are the ones actually giving the company money. And the more ridiculous part about all of this is the insane backflipping, bootlicking, pretzel twisting ways that fanboys of this company will go to bat and defend them in every conceivable way, whether by cherry picking content from Digital Foundry, saying DF is actually not trustworthy, and then trusting them, and then turning around and being excited that they finally get to beat 5-year-old hardware on a handheld PC that's running Linux and using a Proton layer to run every single PC game ever made that is usually designed for Windows through a different compatibility layer and just all off a battery. And that's going to be the win they're going to take. So I guess if that's what you want to do, boys, you've been quiet for a while. Welcome to the party. Get yourself a seat. It's going to be fun. But as always, if you liked today's video, thank you. And if you didn't like it, fuck you. If you want to see more of this kind of content, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content like this, gaming news, and my hot takes in the gaming industry, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 87,000 subscribers, and I just want to say thank you guys so very much. If you want Discord access or emotes during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Come on down Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern. Trust me, you'll have a hell of a as I get insulted with AITTS for about 5 hours. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!
It's time to stop. It's time to stop, man. No more. Where the fuck are your parents? It's time to stop. It's time to stop, man. No more. Where the fuck are your parents? You need to stop everything. What are you doing with your life? This is not okay. This needs to stop now. This is cancer.